Hello everyone, welcome back to a new replay cast. Today we're going to be having a look at, in the bottom left spawning as the red Totals player Showtime. And in the top right spawning as the blue Zerg, it's going to be Elazer. See Showtime going for a very quick scout on Everdream, one of the maps probably most famous for the 4-gate glaive adept build. It is very easy to block that natural. There's a lot of good spots where your prism can fly. Behind the third, you have Mount Everest, where you can put your prism and it's safe from queens. And indeed, we see that initial block here with the probe. We'll be able to force Elazer to take the third base as is natural. Showtime meanwhile just going, of course, into that gas. Can still go into any kind of attack, but most likely will be that 4-gate glaive build, as it is the most common follow-up from the 13 pylon scout. So you cut one probe for a faster scout across the map, so you always get that consistent hatch block. There's one exception if the Zerg player opens up with a 14 hatch, so a hatchery before the pool. In that case the hatchery can get blocked, but that's kind of an expensive investment by the Zerg, as they basically put themselves into a very long supply block. They cut 2 drones, even though that's only temporarily, of course, but it is a big economical hit that the Zerg will take if they get that 14 hatch. But Elazer opting for just a 17 hatch, so after the Overlord and after 3 drones on the third base location. You see Cybercore about to finish up here for Showtime. Second gas is done and the second pylon now. This positioning isn't very well hidden. If you'd see Stargate, you could see a pylon over here or over here, but with the glaive build you want everything as close as possible because it's such a tight timing. Every second that a probe is walking to build a building, that's already something that's losing you time. Now we do see just an actual adept investment, and we see a Stargate being built at the natural. Elazer didn't scout the warp gate timing, which is kind of essential. Now Elazer will just move away here, so he does have 2 links moving across the map. It should be able to figure out what kind of tech it is actually. No, Elazer decides not to sack them, so right now Elazer actually has absolutely no clue what's going to happen to him. There is a pylon being built on the natural as well. There's only 2 links to deal with that. 2 adepts are done. He should trigger Elazer to go back in. Sees that there's nothing here whatsoever. And the 2 adepts kind of do give away that it is a Stargate. Usually with 2 adepts you don't see the glaive build. So just a third hatch block. Oh, 8 links being built. This could just be because he saw there's 2 adepts and he's going to be a little bit afraid of what they could do to him, but I'm not quite sure if that's actually the case. Might also want to try put on some pressure, but if it's for pressure it's definitely not going to work. There's 3 adepts out already, 4th adept on the way. Roach Warren at 330. It's a very early Roach Warren, very fast Spore here as well. Yeah, Roach Warren does get cancelled. I'm thinking this is not the timing you want for a Roach Warren, like definitely not. First Oracle is out, does get spotted, that might have triggered the cancel here. Now, how many queens is there already? There's 3 queens, we see a 4th queen, but a little bit of a supply block here for Elazer. Who's still supply block by the way, or semi-supply block. Won't be able to create another queen, this Oracle won't be able to do anything. There's 3 adepts here, which will try to shade into the main, but there's plenty of Zerg links. Former links are on the way. As the 2nd Oracle joins up with this adept force, 3rd Oracle making its way over as well relatively soon. No robotics facility as of yet, but should go down any second now. Oh, Shade wasn't being reacted to, but it's not really worth it to finish to kill 2 drones, right? 3 adepts is worth a little more than 2 drones, and there's just not that many drones here. Of course, Elazer can always pull away as well. Now 2 oracles are flying into the main base. At least trying to fly into the main base. Elazer does not have vision of this move. What is his queen positioning like? It's 2 queens at the third base. There's 2 in the main, and we'll be able to just push this away. one queen in the natural. So a very standard setup here. This way you always have queens in position, unless he goes into the natural. And if you have good vision of your natural, which Elazer has, you can almost always just pull your queens to your natural in time as well. We have a robotics facility, a third gateway and a fourth on the way. Twilight starts going down as well. A couple of sentries, a battery for extra defense, 3 oracles, one over here. He has 1 oracle for 6 drones. It's not quite worth it, I think. It's about an even trade. Like, ideally, you don't really want to be losing any oracles. It's a bit less bad if you build 3 of them, but if you only have 2, this definitely would have been a bad trade. With 2, you can still one-shot workers. Still have quite some damage in case your opponent plays Ravager, Ling Bane. And here comes an attempt at Ling run-by. Adepts on hold position. 1 probe will go down. Nice. Probe gets saved, but all these Lings will die. So a bit of a sloppy trade here by Elazer, who will end up losing 17 Lings. So far hasn't killed that much. 2 oracles once again. Jumping in, get 2 more worker kills, or 1 more worker kill. Stasis being built, but only denies a little bit of mining time. That was very cute. Not sure if that's worth it though. I don't think that's worth it mining time wise, but it's a cool move. It is a cool move, I can't deny that. Dodging the stasis ward with building a spore can't be too easy to do. Now we have 4 sentries, 1 immortal, 2 adepts move. I'm not a fan of this move out really. Such a small and tiny army, really in danger of being caught here by Elazer, honestly. This just seems like asking for trouble. There's only 68 workers. Elazer has a lot of units. He has 6 Hydras and there's 24 Lings on the way. Showtime just needs to go back. And he did kill a tumor here and there, but this guy has balls of steel. Also actually delayed these 12 drones from being built. Elazer was a little bit afraid, so that's good, but I wouldn't see myself copying a move like this anytime soon. I mean, it is really quite risky what he did there. Here we have an Overseer moving out across the map, of course, with Overlord speed. It's going to be really quick. We'll be able to scout basically everything. Sees the gateway count, sees the forge being chrono boosted. There is no storm on the way yet. This army is looking pretty small as well. Oh! Overlord dropped with Banelings does get spotted. Banelings get dropped out and will hit the Adept, but it's not that important. The Adepts can die. This seems like a very ambitious drop, honestly. But 4 Hydras might be able to do some damage. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of a Zealot run by into the main base, trying to target down a couple of drones. For Zealot will end up falling. Prism is idling. Does need to be a little bit careful here, but most likely just gets chased away by these Hydralisks. That's indeed the case for Hydras coming in. Might be able to actually snipe this Templar Archive. Good warp in here by Showtime. Had a warp in available, immediately uses it. +2 as well as Storm is on the way. We have a good setup here with this wall. Makes any kind of Baneling run by a lot harder. We have a cannon, 2 Stalkers for any kind of drop that might hit later. Elazer just sending in random Overlords at this point. Of course, when you look at the minimap, you don't know if it's going to be a Baneling drop or if it's just going to be a regular Overlord. So funny to see. I'm not quite sure if it's intentional. Could also just be an accidental rally, but Elazer would be one to play tricks like that, of course. Yeah, the Polish mastermind. Prism, oh, being idle, will fall here. As Hydras get their kill. Very passive game so far. Not a lot has happened. Pylon being taken down, of course, it's a spotting pylon for now. Bottom side of the map is kind of well set up with stasis wards, with those Archons being spread out, and we see a hive on the way for Elazer. I think Elazer kind of realized, like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the damage here that I need to do. We see Showtime starting Blink, preparing for a potential Stalker switch in case Brood Lords are out for his +2 push. I don't think that's going to be the case though, and he's gonna have a lot of time to make this push work. Usually with these kind of pushes, the Protoss player is always gonna be very, very scared of of Broodlords popping out. But Broodlords are still like 2 minutes away at this point, so Showtime's going to have such a long time to set up this push properly. He can push forward with stasis wards, he can add more and more Archons to this push as Zealot run-bys are being held, and then eventually he can just push with like 8-9 Archons, Storm, 2 Immortals, and yeah, just a massive army really. There's no +2 done yet here for Elazer, who's trying to go for some kind of run-by semi-base trading attack. We'll most likely be able to cancel at least this 5th base. A lot of banelings are still running forward, and another Templar is going down. Decent force field, but not the best. 5th base does end up being cancelled. A lot of banelings do end up falling there. 22 banelings have come down, and unit loss tab is relatively even. We see a fleet beacon on the way here for Showtime. As well as another Zealot run by Elazer is in position. +2 melee attack is about to finish up. We have another move forward. With this massive army clearing a lot of fleet. Does need to be careful. There's not a vision of his opponent's army. A couple of forces could be able to help out here. Here come the oracles, which is definitely needed, as without vision of your opponent's banelings, you don't quite know how you're supposed to move. This seems like what's kind of very ambitious baneling run, but it does get controlled, but loses 6-7 banelings for free, of course not what you want. A couple of zealots are falling on the top side once again as well. Prison being chased away by the corruptors who have little engines. So this is the mech Zerg skin, I believe, as we have Showtime pushing forward on the map right now. This is an angle you can't really engage in Showtime. This is way too big. With a good baneling surround, it's going to be impossible to do anything there. Big Ling run by into the 5th base once again. If this 5th base does end up getting cancelled, that would be pretty painful here for Showtime, as he does need to start thinking about extra expansions. 4 Hydras and 8 Lings causing some trouble at that 3rd base as well, speeding up on the extra gateway. Now, gateway should be rebuilt, as well as an extra cannon in that wall. We see a revelation on the army of Elazer, who is still stuck on Hydra range really, is adding more and more banelings. Showtime is not transitioning out yet. He does have a mothership on the way, he does have +3 on the way, but there's no transition into those carriers, into those Tempest, and honestly he doesn't really need to yet. There's no Broodlords on the map as of yet. So it's just going to be staying on this massive Archon count. And we have another run by here, no banelings. I would love to see 6-7 banelings just to run into the mineral line, just to try to catch a couple of High Templar. Good movement here by Elazer, who's controlling 2 armies at the same time. We'll be able to get this 5th base, at least try to do some damage. Maybe get a couple of probes here. Hydra's moving forward. A lot of Archons already. At the same time, this army is taking on the top base again. We'll get cleaned up by this Zealot warp in. The banelings over here are doing a lot of damage. Dicey. Every single time these trades, they don't look brilliant for Elazer, but Elazer has such a big economy behind this. Look at this, 3,600 minerals. He is of course on 6 bases, 89 workers. Now we see the corruptors, we see the pathogen glands being researched, which is of course the energy upgrade for the infestors. The only thing I see a little bit lacking for Elazer is that this creep spread hasn't been respread yet. Like, he's trying, but it's a very slow process. I'm not sure how many queens he has left over. He only has 3 queens total, which means he doesn't really have any dedicated 3 queens anymore. Another run by, jeez. Poor Showtime, every single time he moves out, there's either banelings and hydras, or there's just pure Ling heading into his 5th base. And at this point these Lings can take on cannons as well, of course, with adrenal glands, with +3 melee attacks about to finish up. So much damage, such big damage output. It's very painful to see for Showtime, who has 14 minutes in the game right now and does not have a 5th base, still only on 68 workers. There's Broodlords out as well, and the only thing he has to deal with Broodlords is Blink, which is not the ideal counter, of course. In low amounts of Broodlords, Blink can be fine, but once infestors hit the field, Blink just is not as pragmatic anymore, as you can't really use it. So, and on top of that, we don't see a single Blink Stalker in this army yet. There's 2 Blink Stalkers walking with this little Zealot squad, preparing for some kind of run by 2 stasis wards. No static defense whatsoever, even though he's floating 1800 minerals. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple of cannons being thrown down. Another baneling run by, trying to run into the 4th base as well, as here we do have the Lings This little Baneling squad able to clean up these zealots. Baneling's running into the fort base. Will not be able to do too much. Hydra's taking care of these stalkers as well, of course. Hydra's only with +1 upgrades, but of course have extremely high damage output by themselves already. We have a little bit of a move forward here by Showtime, but gets met by a fungal in the face. And at this point I think it's 9 Broodlords already, 4 more are on the way. Yeah, going up to 14 Broodlords. COA for Showtime to beat this army at this point. He does move forward, good time warp actually. Catch a lot of Broodlords and a couple of Archons managed to get their hits in. Is there still fungals available? No more fungals available. But there's just not enough, barely not enough fighting power here for Showtime to actually break through, and the Broodlings are pushing him back. Broodlings with good upgrades of course, +3 attack. Absolutely destroying the army of Showtime here. A couple of storms from the prison, but yeah, I'm not too sure about this. I feel like you really need to just add some kind of air unit, especially like if the Broodlord count is higher than 3 or 4, well, higher than 6 at least. You really need to start adding things that aren't stalkers anymore. Another Ling run by into this 5th base, and I think this might just be the nail in the coffin. If this base falls again, the mining of Showtime will be severely handicapped. We only have this base like mining with 4 patches. We have a natural base with still 4 patches, but not really mining that much. And we have this one, so actually just a 2 base economy practically here by Showtime. Who is on 60 workers, but is not really mining with 60 workers. We have a Baneling run by into this 4th base. 10 workers do fall. Not that much of an issue honestly, like there's plenty of workers around. Just too many Broodlords. And there's 9 Corruptors now, so the funny thing is Elazer is actually preparing for a late game against air units, which isn't gonna come. He could just add 15 or 16 Broodlords and it wouldn't matter, because Showtime just doesn't have enough to deal with these Broodlords. The more Broodlords, the merrier. So you see a little bit of a rotation coming out of Showtime here. We'll be heading into this base. There's a bunch of spines. There's a lot of spines. There's 3 more spines on the way, and even if he's semi in position, like these spines will tank a fair amount. Fungals are going down, and I mean with the Broodlords this army should just get pushed back once again. Showtime actually decides to keep pushing forward. At this point he almost has less stalkers than there is Broodlords. There still is fungals out as well. We need to be seeing a blink forward in order for him to deal with this, I feel like. So that might just be happy with killing this hatchery. Is there any Banelings in this army? No, there's not. 10 drones did end up falling. Pushing Elazer down to 67 drones, but still 4k, 1k in the bank, so... And this is... Honestly, this fight wasn't that bad for Showtime, but his army is just so terrible and so small. Like I said, less Stalker than there is Broodlord. 16 Broodlords on the map right now. Neural Parasite about to be finished as well, which means Archons will start fighting for the opponent. Oh, good fungal. Another fungal hit, and there's 1 more fungal here. Does end up getting a lot of Stalkers falling. Archons going down as Showtime drops barely not below 100 supply. 5th base will most likely just get pushed by these Broodlords again, as Elazer is like, that was a cool fight. Like, maybe we traded kind of even, but I still have 4k in the bank. I'm getting a lot of money every single minute. Here we see a little bit of a run by base trade attempt, while the 5th base gets taken down for what feels like the 5th or the 6th time already this game. 5 spines here will be able to help out against those zealots. Links streaming in as the Broodlords and Infestors make their way over as to deal the final blow to Showtime here. Who's trying his best, but if there is 16 Broodlords on the map, your best just isn't enough. If your best consists of an Archon, a Stalker and a Zealot fighting against Hydras. GG gets called and Elazer wins this game. After what seemed to be a pretty good start for Showtime, honestly. Had a very clean early game. Good harassment initially with the Oracles. Didn't do too much damage, but stayed very alive. Got very easily up to his +2, his Storm, his 180 supply. But from there on out, Elazer with the run-bys, with the extra attacks on the outside bases and denying the 5th base so many times, managed to win that game. Pretty good one, if you ask me. If you did enjoy this replay cast, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a lot. Don't forget to smash the like button, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.